If you want to know how to create a currency system for your Roblox game and how to give players money every certain amount of seconds, then watch this video until the end because everything will be explained in this tutorial. Hello, Steady on here, and this tutorial is going to be on payouts and currency. So what it's going to do is it's going to be a script that will create a currency in your game, so money or dollars or anything you want, points maybe, anything that goes on the leaderboard on the top right of your screen. And it will also, every certain number of seconds, it will pay that person a certain number of dollars or money or points. So let's get right into it. So to start with, we're going to create a script in Server Script Service. And to do that, obviously, we just right-click Server Script Service, insert object, script. And before we do anything, we're obviously going to want to name the script its purpose. So we're going to name it payouts and currency, because if we look back at this later and we think, what does that script do, then having it written there telling us what it does will help a lot in knowing what it does, so we don't have to open the script and read the whole script or anything like that. So you should make a habit of doing that. It's very useful. Now, so firstly we're going to define some variables. So to start with, we're going to create a variable called currency increment. And what this will be is how much you want your points or your money or your dollars or whatever your currency is to go up by every certain number of seconds that you'll set in a minute. So I'm going to set mine to 10. So I want it to go up by 10 every time. And then I'm going to set my currency name. So the currency name variable is going to be called currency name. And the name of the currency is going to just be money for the purpose of this tutorial. And now we've just got one more variable to do, and that is the time increment. And what the time increment is how long you want it to wait between every time it gives the player that much points or that much whatever the currency is. So here I'm going to make it every 100 seconds. Okay, so now we've defined all our variables. That's a lot of the work done. And the great thing about this is you can just easily open this script and change a few of these variables whenever you want, and it will all work perfectly just with changing the variables. So it's that simple. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a function, and this function is going to be called onPlayerEntered. And inside the brackets here we're going to put PLR, which means player. And what this means is that this function will be, every time this function is called, it will pass an argument through called PLR, which will be the player, and then the function will run. But right now, there's nothing calling the function, so there's nothing making this function run. It's just sitting there with nothing to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to have something that will run every single time a player enters the game, and it will run this function. So to do that, we're going to say game players player added connect. So we're going to put a colon and then connect, and then two brackets. And inside these two brackets, we're going to put the function name, which is onPlayerEntered. So what this means is when a player enters the game, so when a player is added to players, the folder players in the game, connect and run this function here. Okay? And it will automatically pass through the argument here, which is player. And it will be the player that's just joined the game. So now we've done all of that, we're going to want to define another variable, and this is a variable that we define for every single player, and this variable is called local leader stats, and this is what creates the visual thing you see on the top right of your screen. On the leaderboards you see the money and the amount of money they have. So to do that, we're just going to create a folder, and to create a folder we just do instance new, so this will create a new thing, and the name of the thing we're creating is obviously folder, so we put that inside speech marks because it's a string. And then we're going to put a comma here, and we're going to put player. And what that will do is, it will create the folder. So we'll go instance new folder, and because we've got this comma here, it will put this folder that they've just created into player. And obviously the player is the player that's just joined the game. And what that'll do is, it will create the visual thing you see on the top right of your screen, the leaderboards. So now we're going to create another thing, because we haven't actually created the currency system yet. We just created the folder that the currency system goes into. So this one's going to be called currency value, or for short, currency val. And we're going to use another instance new here, and here we're going to use an int value, which stands for integer value, and an integer is just a number. So this value can have any number in it you want, and that's why it's perfect for a currency system. And once again, we're going to put it into something, but we're not going to put it into player, we're going to put it into the leader stats that we've just created. Okay, now we've created these two things, but we haven't actually named them yet. We've named their variables, so we've named this one leader stats, this variable leader stats, and we've named this variable currency value, but the actual thing itself that's just been created hasn't been named. So to name it, all we're going to do is we're going to put leader stats name, and then it equals, and then we're going to put speech marks so it's a string, and we're going to name it leader stats. And that's very important. It has to be named leader stats. The leader stats value always has to be named leader stats, otherwise you won't see the leaderboard. Now we go on to the currency value. So we're going to name the currency value, and we're going to name it using this variable we've already created called currency name, and the currency name variable is money. But obviously we can change this wherever we want, but if we put here currency name, then it will look for the variable currency name, and we've already defined the variable in the currency name, so it will automatically put money. It's just the same as writing money here. Apart from it will update if you change this, if you wanted to change the name of your currency. Now, we've now created a whole currency system. It's all working perfectly, but we want it to pay out a certain amount of points or a certain amount of money or a certain amount of dollars, whatever, every in this case 100 seconds. So in this case we want to pay $10 or money out every 100 seconds. So to do that we're going to create a while true loop. We're going to create a while true do loop. And what that will do is it will just loop on forever and ever. So I'll show you what I mean. So we've got while true do, and this loop will just, everything inside it here will just loop around over and over again. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I put wait here, what that will mean is that it will run wait, and then it will just run wait again, and just run wait again, and run wait forever and ever until you do a certain command. But we won't get into that now, because this will run forever. You'll get money forever using this loop. So inside the wait, we're going to put time increment, and that's a reference to the variable we've created earlier called time increment, which is 100. And what that means is it will wait 100 seconds, because we've defined 100 seconds up here. And then after it's waited 100 seconds, we need to add 10 to the currency. And the currency is the currency val here, right, we've already made. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say currency val, and then value, so we need to put a dot value because it's a property of the actual currency value. And so we're saying the currency value is the current currency value's value plus the currency increment. Right? And what this will do is every 100 seconds it will give us 10 in-game money. Because we've got it inside a while true do, I keep saying that, while true do loop, it will forever give us 10 currency every 100 seconds. That's simple. The whole system done. So I hope this tutorial was helpful, and thanks for watching.